G'day and welcome to Forgotten Tasmania's YouTube 2020 Rewind. Around this time of year, people are making New Year's resolutions, doing reviews, starting new bullet journals and publishing annual returns. Coming up, you'll see YouTube do their annual YouTube Rewind video, which features highlights, up-and-coming YouTubers and cool things. I'm a tiny channel from Tasmania and I'm not in with the cool crowd, so I severely doubt I'll be included in this year's YouTube Rewind. So I decided to do my own. Being the biggest system for distributing videos on planet Earth, YouTube is different things to different people. You've probably heard of professional YouTubers like MrBeast or PewDiePie and wondered why anybody would like to watch that, critically acclaimed content. Well, pro YouTubers and indeed pro YouTube daily vloggers are just one type of content on YouTube. There's how-to channels, and yes, you can learn bricklaying from a video, just ask my daughter. Then there's TV, funniest home videos, cute animals but not cats. Once you get past all that sort of thing, you find the more creative pieces, experimental and short film, educational and documentaries, and that's the corner of YouTube where Forgotten Tasmania lives. I'm in the edutainment space. I make a documentary-style video about Tasmanian history as told through the photos of the Beatty Studio collection. I love learning, something I got from school, along with social anxiety, which is a byproduct of the Tasmanian government education system from the 1970s. See the movie Lord of the Flies and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I digress, as my brain likes to do. Oh, there it goes again. There might be 256 shades of grey, but there's only 6 degrees of separation. I like things that sound deep and meaningful. Pink Floyd, The X-Files, Twin Peaks, and pretty much any good conspiracy theory. When you dig into them, these things don't actually have any answers. They just sound like they do. And sometimes what I want is a good question rather than a bad answer. There are a lot of good questions in the photos from the Beatty collection. I look at a photo of Elizabeth Street in 1916, for example, and I want to know how we got there. There are trams and trolley buses, all electric. 100 years later, we're desperately trying to get back to electric transport. So why did we give it up? The pace of life and the elusive work-life balance. From the 1850s, Australians won the right to work only 8 hours a day. Tasmania didn't even allow 7-day trading until the 1980s, so hardly anyone was working Sundays back in 1916. There's a horse and cart and a council worker cleaning up after the horses. We have electric power lines, and don't get me started on the fashion. You see where my brain takes me. A single Beatty photo can keep me occupied for weeks, if not months. I discovered the joy of making documentary films as a way of recording these stories. More than 50 films later, I'm starting to get the hang of it. My first big revelation was that most of the popular YouTubers are really just spokespeople or salesmen. They do product reviews, sponsorships, affiliate links, and all sorts of things. And I think I got a bit sucked into that lifestyle, even though I was saying I wasn't going to. And some of my earlier videos do seem a bit iffy, but now I'm discovering my voice as a documentary filmmaker, and I'm making documentaries better and better, I think. So maybe I can sell the idea to a TV station one day. In the meantime, I really love making these videos. It's a frustrating process, but that's the definition of something, isn't it? Just hard enough to challenge me without being too hard that I find it impossible, and certainly not too easy that I find it boring. For me, documentary filmmaking sits right in that sweet spot on the continuum. 2020 was definitely a year, and one that's best left in the past. If they have a vote to erase it from the collective consciousness, well, I'd be in favour of that. But looking forward to 2021, it's all about doing it better. I want to make the series good enough for television, and that's the goal. So I'd love to hear your comments, suggestions, requests, feedback, anything you've got to say. I really would love to hear it, and I especially love it when people correct me when I get things wrong, because we all know I've got a talent for getting things wrong. If you never make a mistake, you never learn anything, and I'm in this to learn things. I look back at the things I've written over the last 18 months and I come back to that wonderful statement that popped into my head one day. And I wish I had a big, deep 60 minutes voice to do it justice, but we'll have a go. We are Tasmanian. These are our stories. This is Forgotten Tasmania. See you in 2021. Cheers.